Okay. So I want to start off by saying that I'm glad Donald Trump won, and that comes with a very specific reason. Um, so 5,971,644 people did not vote for Hillary Clinton, whereas in 2012 they voted for Obama. 1,221,670 people did not vote for Trump, whereas they voted for Romney in 2012. The two major candidates actually got less votes this year than they did last year, while Jill Stein and Gary Johnson actually got more votes. Johnson got 2.8 million, Jill got 760,000. Minority turnouts did increase in 2016, but when compared to the population proportions in 2012, those percentages did not increase. Less people overall, like I said, voted for the two main candidates, and independents actually got a very interestingly large voter turnout. So I guess the point is Trump didn't necessarily win because he had a better campaign or more support. Statistically, he was a regular Republican nominee. He got about the same amount of votes, even if they did decline. And he didn't really win for any other particular reason than Democrats didn't come out to vote, which can be said for the same thing. If more people would have voted for Hillary, and then it could be said that, yeah, more Republicans should have came out to vote and Trump would have won. That's arguable across the board, but the interesting part is that Democrats suffered a much larger loss on voter turnout this election than they did in 2012. And that, in my opinion, just seems to have the biggest effect as to why we are where we are now. And the reason I say I'm glad that he won is because I am a white, 18 years and older, straight male. I am the exact demographic that the Conservative Party will never do anything to harm. I will always be the demographic that they will be just seeking to strengthen. And I'm not trying to be derogatory or anything, but that's just the tendencies of these policies and this political system. That's the way that they push. And that's it. So that doesn't mean that I care any less. It's annoying to me that the demographics that are affected the most by voter turnouts had some of the least amount of turnouts overall. And so I'm hoping after whatever happens in the next 4 years, by the time we get to 2020, we'll have better turnouts, and whatever happens, and hopefully it'll be for the best. And that's pretty much it.
You are listening to Sexpert, a sex-positive podcast meant to inform our generation how to lead healthier and naughtier lives. And thank you, Mason, for that.
I feel ashamed.
That introduction. That was a good start. That was a good hook.
Yeah. I hope we don't lose people as soon as they hear that.
I think you'll keep them. Keep them hooked in.
Mm-hmm.
Madison, we're here.
And
we're all
yeah,
here
that's
tonight.
I wanted to say something about that. I just want to address the fact that we are a welcoming podcast. We don't want to turn anybody away or tell anyone that their opinion is stupid, because absolutely not. Everyone is entitled to their opinion, and there's no way to say that it's wrong per se, but we also have our opinions, and this is where we can express them and just tell you what we think, give you the facts that we have, and hope you go with that knowledge and just get educated on mainly sex, because that's what we are, but other things as well that you need to know about today and what's happening in the world around you.
Would you guys say that this election, maybe more than any other, actually has more to do with sex?
I'm
sorry, it has more to do.
That I've found,
I'd
yes.
say that our president-elect is going to be more involved in our sex lives than any previous president ever elected to the United States of America.
Something that they're supposed to be totally against talking about.
And I personally do not want to have sex with Donald Trump. Or want him in my sex life. Thank you very much. But we would like to say that, as Madison already mentioned, We are very accepting, and we would like to say that we are a safe space for those of you who need someone to talk to. You can find us on Facebook, facebook.com/Sexpert with me or Renee. You can find us individually on Twitter. You can shoot us a DM, or Instagram. All that's linked below. And we are here today to talk about the election, and it's been a week. To the day we're recording, it's been a week since.
It has?
It's been 1 week.
Wow.
Yeah, it's felt like a lifetime.
We're still alive.
It's been 1 week, and I still haven't watched Hillary Clinton's concession speech. I just can't bring myself to do it.
I haven't been able to either.
I can't. Election night was very hard for me. I had too much alcohol, and there were a lot of tears. I called my father, like, hyperventilating. You know, my whole family was crushed. My gay aunt, who holds dual citizenship with the U.S. and Australia, who lives in Australia, who voted absentee in Australia, whose 7-year-old daughter had customized Harper for Hillary buttons and hairpins in her hair and on her jumper when she went to school. Like, they were all crushed over this election. So it's been very emotionally hard. I had to stay off of Facebook and off of Twitter for about a week. I just re-downloaded the apps on my phone today. It's been, I don't know how it's been for you guys, but it's been very challenging. And it's not the fact that my candidate was defeated. It's that we have elected someone who is going to implement policies that are going to regress any advancements that we have made as a nation, to be more accepting of others. And we have elected a candidate who is going to make it harder, very likely, for women to get birth control, to get abortions. We've elected a candidate who is not very factual, who does not know very much about sexuality, about the female body. We have elected a candidate that doesn't base anything off of the facts. We've elected a candidate who is still posting dumb tweets. Like, you know, he's still posting shit. So it's we're here today to not be too depressing, but I did want to start off on that note. On a depressing note, because I wanted everyone to know my feelings, our feelings, before we jumped into the facts.
So, Madison, how did you discover that he became president?
I actually sat up and watched the election until about 12:30, I guess, and I got way too tired and went to bed, and I woke up, and I remember it being like, because I wake up at weird hours during the night, and I think it was like 4 o'clock in the morning or 7 o'clock in the morning, one of those, and I thought to look, and I was actually texting my friend the night before, and then I was like, I can't believe this. I really didn't think this was going to happen. I was 100% positive that it wasn't going to happen. And there it was, you know, and all I could do was sit there and think about it. And then, of course, I went back to sleep and woke up the next morning and ranted about it to my boyfriend, but that's okay.
Just out of curiosity, what was your boyfriend's opinion on all of the...
He doesn't, and honestly, it doesn't affect him because, as Mason said, you know, he's a straight white male, as Bo Burnham put it. So it doesn't affect him, and I think he posted something on Instagram about it and was like, it was a quote from one of the bands that we listened to, and it's like, your life doesn't change by the man that's elected, so just go be yourself. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I get it, but
there are people whose lives are very much likely going to be drastically changed.
Exactly. And he understands that. He didn't think that either candidate was in the position to hold so much power. and, you know, looking at the policies and everything, I personally wanted, I can't think of his name right now. He was another Democratic candidate that wasn't Bernie
I was
Sanders.
like, Bernie? No.
No, not Bernie Sanders. Oh my gosh. Anyway, he was great, and I loved him, and I was so sad. He just didn't have enough popularity.
Was he this election?
Yes.
Yeah, hang on. Let me.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I didn't know there was a third one.
Yeah, it was very early on.
Yeah.
He dropped out before the primaries.
Yeah, oh, no,
I don't
definitely.
remember his name
I
either.
even, like, signed up to be a part of his, like...
Mason, how did you find out?
Okay, so a little bit of a funny story, lighten the mood. I don't know why. I'm still in the swing of it, and I have no idea why. But just going to bed early and waking up early, and it's horrible. I think that night, because I was so tired, and at that point, I mean, there's nothing I could do. I cast my vote. I've always woken up to the election, anyways. So I decided to go to sleep. I went to sleep, I think, at like 8 or 8:30. And I woke up at about 2 a.m. And my alarm clock, at around 1:30 to 2 a.m. on the dot, will start broadcasting BBC Radio. The British broadcasting company, or whatever it's called. And it's usually pretty quiet. It doesn't wake me up. But, for some reason at this point it did. And I was still pretty groggy and I wasn't really awake. And I heard this British guy say...
it was British people cheering because finally Brexit wasn't the shithole of the world.
Right?
No.
But it was like some British guy who was like, and it appears that Donald Trump has won the American election. And I just kind of poked my head up and I was like, what?
Yeah, your head's like pop
What
up
the
over
fuck?
the coverage.
I was like, what's going on?
Where am I? What's going? It's like
I had to
Groundhog
get
Day
on
all
my
over
phone.
again.
And I had to look it up, and yeah, sure enough, he had
Yeah.
won. So that was pretty much it.
I didn't stay up to watch the official results. But I mean, I knew he'd won it very early on when people still had hope. I knew he'd won it. I was not one of the people that went into this 100% or even a majority percent sure that Hillary Clinton would win it, just because I knew some shit like this would happen. I just didn't think it would happen so on the level that it did. Like I thought it'd be a fight up until the very end, and it wasn't. And so
It
that
was
fucked
close.
me
I
up. Like,
It was neck and neck pretty much the whole time. And
I mean, it was neck and
what I'll
neck until
say
probably
is
like
that-
what 10 o'clock, 10:30, and that's when
Yeah.
he got like to 220 or some shit like that, or maybe it may not have been that high, but he like reached over 200, and it was like, oh.
Right. But, I mean, like I said, and the other guy was Martin O'Malley. That's who I really, really...
Ah, yes.
Oh,
I loved
yeah,
him
Martin.
so much.
I completely forgot about Martin O'Malley.
I mean,
I
everything
think
that he
he
wanted-
will be golden for 20.
Everything that he had
What's the
said
year?
that he wanted to do, he had already done. Like,
Yeah.
and his ideas were ideal, realistic, and
Yeah.
were obtainable, and I guess he just didn't have enough popularity.
I think he ran in this election to get, not publicity, but to get, I'm blanking, to just get noticed so that he can run in 2020 and be more
which
legitimate of
I
a
will,
candidate.
again, be very much for
I
him.
liked him, and he's still, young. So,
But what I'll
Yeah,
say about
he's a
this
young guy.
election is that I really hope, it seems like already everything that Trump, he's holding up to his reputation, because everything that he's said that he believed in during the campaign, he's completely went back on and changed. His whole entire website is actually different. It says all different types of things. And so I really hope that he proves everyone, all of the Democratic Party's wrong. I hope that the Democratic Party stops being so violent, because I hate to see this violence. It really just saddens me that, nothing's happened. Whenever, I hate to put it like this, but you can't go ahead and start a fight over something that hasn't happened
Exactly.
yet. Maybe he'll pull through. I can have hope. So whenever he, fails us epically, then start your protests and, start, fighting the man. But until then, have hope
Have
that maybe
hope.
they know what the hell they're
Have
doing.
hope, but let us educate you on how Donald Trump might crush your sexual rights.
Very true.
In the meantime, I found an interesting Sex Today article that I think will actually lighten the mood. It's just on Twitter today, which was interesting. It's Reductress. 5 men to fuck before you lose your birth control in January. Because, birth control is so important. So let's use it to our advantage before people lose accessibility to birth control. First guy, Doug.
Just go ahead and get IUDs. They
Yeah,
last for,
we'll talk about
5
that.
years.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
Enough.
Doug from work, number 1. Most of the people you work with are major clit shrinkers, but Doug is a gorgeous fuck machine who you've been lusting after for months. I like how his name's Doug. Up until now, you've been hesitant to have a fling with a coworker, but this is an emergency, and so it's go time. Doug looks like the type of guy who impregnates every woman he bangs with triplets. So you've got to get him in you before that sweet birth control is ripped from your horny hands. All right, so that's Doug from work. Everyone keep Doug in your mind. Then we have No Condom Kevin. All right, listen. You know it's a douche move that Kevin won't wear condoms. He's a dick. It's the whole reason you stopped fucking him in the first place. But now that the prospect of losing your birth control is on the horizon, you need to text No Condom Kevin immediately. Not only will you leave your RAM session with Kevin completely unfertilized, you'll also be able to afford the STD test that you'll absolutely need to take after he puts his dirty dick all up in you. Still worth it. And then we have... Yeah, go for it.
I love how these names are like guys that you would never think, like Doug. What kind of...
Doug looked like a
Have
dirty
you ever
hipster,
seen, like,
and
just
No
a
Condom
buff,
Kevin was this black
masculine
guy in the
man named
gym.
Doug?
Now we have both your baristas. Yeah. So I guess technically this makes 2 people. Both of your baristas. Every morning when you get your chai latte, you're carried away by fantasies of getting double teamed by your baristas Brad and Chad. They're the spindly, bespeckled type who seem like chill book readers, but are definitely fuck freaks beneath it all. You've got limited time, so get on this, so you can finally fulfill your dream of fucking Brad and Chad. Seriously, go to the coffee shop and ask for their numbers now before January rolls around and your coffee beans have no protection against their steamed milk. Can someone please write me a porno? I want erotica on Brad and Chad. And, can I be the main character? Because I'm feeling this 100%.
We should see if one of our listeners would write that for us.
One of our listeners, Austin, I'm looking at you. Yeah, both, I want Brad and Chad, and the pictures here are just phenomenal. They look like little Peter Parkers. Okay, I think this is the last ones. I think they do count Brad and Chad as 2 people. Honestly, your third cousin. This reminds me of where I'm from. Where we're all from. When you think about your all-time fuck list, some of the entries are more honorable than others. One of those semi-unfortunate dream bangs is your third cousin who is, sure, related to you technically, but doesn't actually feel like family. And speaking of feeling, you'd like to feel him destroy you with his dick, but not if there's any risk of having a cousin baby. I can't with this. That's why you have to make shit happen on Thanksgiving. It's your last goddamn chance. So everybody who was listening to this before Thanksgiving, get your third cousin up in there and fuck them before Donald Trump and all the ancestral rednecks take away your birth control.
Now I know why they voted for him.
Mo babies.
It was good. That was good. So I think that was the last Last one. Yep, seize the
You know
day
what?
and seize on to the people that you need to fuck before you lose access to birth control in January. And then it has this, like, guy with the beard and beautiful blue eyes.
I can think of 2 particular dudes who this does not affect.
Is it the 2 guys that are virgins who don't use condoms or shave their pubes that we've talked about in the last couple episodes? Because I 100% agree with you that this will not at all affect them.
You know, neither of them voted either.
Tell me something I don't know. Like, that doesn't surprise me worth a shit.
They haven't talked to me recently because I have given them so much shit for not voting.
You mean,
That's the
have
other
you
thing.
given them...
I don't
also
know.
talk about them on here.
Have you...
Yeah.
Have you given... Oh, we're pieces of shit. Have you given them more shit for not voting or for saying they wouldn't wear a condom on their first time?
Oh, for not voting.
Okay.
I would
They
say
can have all the babies they want.
They can have all the babies they want. And with Donald
Yeah.
Trump, they won't get shit welfare either. So they can fuck off. They can suffer like the rest
honestly.
of us. That's good.
Yeah, man. I don't know.
Well, they're obviously pieces of
If you
shit.
didn't vote, don't tell me.
If you don't... And if you don't use
If you didn't
condoms...
vote, don't tell me.
Don't tell me.
Don't tell anybody.
Don't tell anybody, because someone's going to smack you upside the fucking head.
You're gonna get smacked.
You are going to get motherfucking smacked. All right, moving on. Speaking of condoms and birth control and babies and aborting them, I wanted to talk a little bit about Donald Trump's policies on abortion and obviously his rabid hate for Obamacare, aka the Affordable Care Act, and how that may affect women's availability to easily attain birth control. That didn't make any sense, but you guys get the gist. Yeah, so Donald Trump can't make up his mind about abortion. And you know, back in the 90s, he was all pro-choice, and now he's all pro-life. But, like, he can't make up his mind about Planned Parenthood. And here you have my southern accent coming out, because I'm just not able to control myself. All right, so from the Republican debate on February 25th, Senator Marco Rubio said to Trump, he said, very recently, Trump was still defending Planned Parenthood. And then Trump interjected, because he's really good at that. And Trump said, as far as Planned Parenthood is concerned, I'm pro-life. I'm totally against abortion having to do with Planned Parenthood. But millions and millions of women, cervical cancer, breast cancer, are helped by Planned Parenthood. So you can say whatever you want, but they have millions of women going through Planned Parenthood that are helped greatly. And I wouldn't fund it. I would defund it because of the abortion factor, which they say is 3%. I don't know what percentage it is. They say it's 3%. But I would defund it because I'm pro-life, but millions of women are helped by Planned Parenthood. It's like, this like, I can't remember if I watched this debate or not, but it's just like, it's one sentence, he's saying, so many women are helped. Next sentence, but I'm not going to fund it. Next sentence, but so many women are helped. Next sentence, but I ain't going to fund it. Like, he can't, what the fuck, Donald? And then he pulls the whole 3% thing into this. He's like, I don't know what percentage it is. They say it's 3%. Like, okay, Don. All right. And so basically that's his whole, like, with Planned Parenthood, that's his whole deal. He's flip-flopped his stance on abortion. He is currently pro-life. He has been pro-life, I believe, since 2011. He's been, like, out of the closet pro-life. And then he was recently interviewed on 60 Minutes, which, for those of you that weren't raised in boring political white households like myself, that is a Sunday night CBS affiliate, like, 1 hour, aka 60 minute, like, newscast thingy. So he was interviewed, and I'll link the video. It's a short, like, 2 minutes long, but, or maybe 1 minute, I'm not sure. the clip in which he's talking about abortion. And oh shit, I forget who it was who interviewed him. But she asked him if he would be appointing a Supreme Court justice who is who is pro-life, because as everyone knows, he's going to be appointing a fuckload of Supreme Court justices before the end of his hopefully one and only term. And he jumped around the question actually for quite a bit, which surprised me because it's a very fucking simple question that everybody already fucking knows the answer to, so why don't you just fucking answer it? So instead of answering it when she said, will the judge be pro-life, he said, now on the topic of gun control. I was like, how did we get here? How? Like, it's like in a minute and a half video, he can't even do anything right. So he said, I'm pro-life. The judge, he finally got to this point. The judges will be pro-life. He said, but whether or not Roe v. Wade was overturned, it was going to be left up to the states. Right, so that's been his big thing. It's going to be left up to the states. So he's like, not, confirm. And I mean, it's going to be very hard to overturn Roe v. Wade because it's an amendment. So it's like, or not amendment, but it's a constitution, or it's a Supreme Court decision, court case. So it's like really fucking hard to overturn Roe v. Wade.
Also, let's take a moment to realize how long ago Roe v. Wade happened
70
and how much we should have advanced by now instead of going back and regressing.
Yeah, exactly. That's Roe v. Wade was 73. So, a landmark decision. That's the term I was looking for. It's going to be very hard to overturn that. However, if it were to be overturned, it would be taken to the states. It'd be left up to the states. And, I mean, a lot of people, especially, we're from North Carolina, depending on who is governor, which they're doing a recount of votes, and we should find out in the next couple of days officially who our next governor is. Fingers crossed that it is Roy Cooper. Because he won the initial round. But Obama, sweeping in, because he's a prince in shining armor, has moved to protect Planned Parenthood, by signing a, where was it? Signing a thingamabob. I know a lot about politics, everybody. Basically defending Title 10, or X, for those of you that can't read Roman numerals. The Title X program provides basic preventive health care and family planning services for 4 million low-income Americans. About 85% of patients who use Title X have incomes below $23,500 a year. Planned Parenthood serves about a third of those patients using the $70 million a year it receives from Title X grants, which are federal grants, to subsidize contraceptives and cancer and sexually transmitted infection screenings for people who can't afford them. Title X does not allow any money to be used to pay for abortions for any reason. However, he is still protecting Planned Parenthood because there is still the threat that that contraceptives will be harder to get through insurance if Trump's fucking White House would overturn Obamacare. Because whereas some people, say that Obamacare has done nothing but fuck them over, there are more people who have benefited from Obamacare. My father is one of those people who has benefited from Obamacare. Everything okay, Madison?
Yeah, I was just going to say, also, if you're just one of those people that state that Obamacare has screwed you over and you don't actually know what Obamacare does or how it works, go look it up.
Right, exactly. Obamacare is for people who need it, not people who want it. It's like, so my dad wouldn't have insurance if he didn't have Obamacare. So that's like an example of that. But, yeah, so one thing that Obamacare does is it gives, I believe it's either, I swear I like researched all of this before coming on tonight, but I'm just losing my fucking mind apparently. Basically what it does is it allows people who have Obamacare to affordably access birth control. So it makes it affordably accessible to the women on Obamacare. Yeah, right here. There we go. It requires that insurers cover birth control as a form of preventative care. So it makes it affordable, if not completely covering it. So when Obamacare is taken away from these people, who are usually lower income people, who are usually statistically more inclined to have unexpected pregnancies or pregnancies very young, it's taking away their rights to birth control. And these are also people who typically grow up in school districts that don't teach good sex education, that don't use condoms, that don't know how to use condoms, that don't know the benefit of condoms. So it's restricting their right to birth control, which hopefully Obama has protected by signing this title, this rule for Title 10 that protects Planned Parenthood, so they can still go to Planned Parenthood and get cheap birth control, like cheap pills and stuff. But, you know, in terms of abortion, like, if it were to get overturned and taken to the states, and you have a more conservative government in your state, you may have to, and as Donald Trump said in his video with his 60-minute interview, he said, you just have to travel to another state. Which, I mean, some people don't have the means to do that.
Again, I wanted to put an input about the whole abortion thing. I understand it's against some religions. However, there has, and, it's been very much in place. There's a separation between church and state. And I just have to ask, if you don't want abortion, then you're going to have countless pregnancies that occur with people who don't want a child, and that child will be raised in a home that they will not be cared for, taken care of. They could even be thrown in, the adoption system, which takes thousands and thousands of dollars for people to adopt them. So they're more than likely going to be put in, bad homes and have terrible experiences. So just think about that before you decide your stance.
Well, it's just like so many of the people that are against abortion are also highly against welfare, or paid maternity leave or family leave, or paid maternity leave for the father. Paternity, yeah. Yeah, see, there it is. I'm out of it tonight. But, yeah, so it's just like, and a lot of people that do find themselves in these situations of unexpected pregnancies, and they can't support for themselves, if they don't have welfare, they're just, I don't know, it's just like an endless cycle. And then orphanages and foster care is all shit. And especially foster care, a lot of those kids don't get very good educations because they are fostered from home to home, and they usually do become, a lot of them, unstable in life. They aren't very sexually educated on terms of prevention, disease, and pregnancy. So it just becomes an endless cycle that only feeds into the classist system that America has become. What we would say, the elite class, the middle class, and the lower class, below the poverty line. But it's just an endless cycle. It feeds into that. This also feeds into institutionalized racism. But we don't have to get into that. It's so funny that I'm like easily talking about all this shit that I haven't researched into recently, but here I couldn't even like punch out. I'm sorry, guys. Tonight is just not my night. But I think I got my point across pretty well. Everyone pretty much knows Trump's stances on abortion and ACA and how that may possibly affect women. But I want to hear more about his allegations, with harassing women and verbally and sexually. And I want to hear more about what's his face's fucking evangelism. And God, I just loved Tim Kaine so much. Sorry. I'm just really sad. I'm probably more sad that Tim Kaine isn't our vice president than Hillary Clinton isn't our president. Like, I love Tim Kaine, but Madison, why don't you tell us a little bit about Donald Trump's, yeah.
Okay, so I'll just go ahead and say that I have about 15 internet tabs open, filled with information on everything ranging from Donald Trump's alleged firings of people for becoming pregnant to him actually sexually harassing women. And, I obviously don't have enough time to go through all 15 of these tabs, but I will say that what I've gathered from the majority of it is that and from reading even his quotes and listening to some of the videos, we all know about the recording that came out about the whole grab him by the pussy thing that came out recently that was just, if you justify that, just think about somebody saying that about your daughter or sister or mother. Just think about it for a moment. Anyway, so what I've gathered from all of this information that I have found, and I'll go through some of it, but the whole idea is that he is powerful, he has money, he is in charge, so he can do whatever he feels like. He is validated for any action that he takes part in because he's wealthy. And if you don't think that he's validated in that, then he will more than likely go back and say that he never said anything about it because everyone's a liar except for him.
Well, the case that was the woman who was one of the women who was raped by him, that there was supposed to be the trial and everything, and in the coming month, I'm sure you've heard, it's been completely taken
Absolutely.
off the books.
And I mean, everyone
She was receiving
talks
death
about
threats
how
and shit.
everyone talks about how they didn't come out about
I know, and that's
this
like
must be
fueled by
fake because
ignorance,
they didn't. Well, how it must be fake because they didn't come out about it before this, but you have to look at it as the perspective that he does have power, he has money, he has a control of a lot of things that can become very intimidating whenever you are trying to make a claim about somebody that, is sexual assault. I mean, that's something big. And they can easily, conspiracy theories or whatever, you can easily pay somebody to go and take care of, quote unquote, something like that for you. So why would you want to go out of your way to accuse them of that to get yourself put in it? And what a lot of these women are saying is that they felt like one of the stories, she was doing a news article, and he had actually just, let me find it.
I don't know where it was today that I read it, but I read somewhere that over the span of his career, he has had something like 5,000. I don't know if it was cases brought against him or like charged against him, but it was something like that. It was something like 5,000 over the course of his career of things that he has been accused of wrongfully doing. I don't know if those were legal cases actually brought against him, but it was like 5,000 things he was accused of. It was like 5,500. It was crazy. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, I have that.
But he still has the Trump University trial in December, I think, doesn't he? Because I thought I saw somewhere that a judge refused to push the date back or anything. He said, no, we're having the fucking trial. So.
Right. Well, he always claims to sue. He's going to sue everyone for anything that they say.
Yeah, or fire
But
them.
he currently, what you were talking about was he has in 3 decades, he has gained
There we go.
4,095 lawsuits.
Shit. So it was lawsuits.
Yeah.
Fuck.
But the lady that I was talking about, she was a magazine reporter. Her name was Natasha Steinoff. And she was going to interview him after his first year of marriage with Melania Trump.
Melania?
And
yeah, that's how I am too. I was just like clarifying. Yeah. Because I mean, he's had like 7 wives or whatever, so I was just like trying to make sure which one we were talking about.
Right, yeah. And she went upstairs to go and change, and he said that he had to show her this room, and he walked in there and closed the door behind him and immediately started groping her, like stuck his tongue down her throat, and she like was so stunned by this and said that she just could not get him off until the butler opened the door and said that Melania would be right down to get back to the other room. Obviously, he was on guard to look out for that. And then he told her out front that they were going to have an affair. And I get so tickled at reading some of his dialogue because this man does not know how to talk.
You see
I don't know if English is his second language.
Shit,
or
what's the... what is her name? It's the woman who is now like... She's like one of the late night show hosts, and she's... What the fuck is her name? And she covers more political stuff, but she's like a woman late night show host. She had this whole like segment on this like theory of hers that Donald Trump can't read. And it's like he was like on video given these like statements, these like court statements that he had like agreed to and signed, and the lawyer was asking him to read them out loud, and he's like, I can't read these, I like didn't read them at the time, I can't read them now. And there were like, they took clips from interviews of him in the past where the people would always, because he's supposed to be this like intellectual businessman, and they'd always ask him, what book are you currently reading? And he gave like some generic fucking response at every single one of these interviews, and it was the same book. And it's like, has he ever read the book? And there was like a couple other like instances, like just quotes of his where it was just like, does he know how to read? Like it was like kind of like, oh my god, like it's funny, but it's like at the same time the stuff she presents is like, what the fuck? It's Samantha Bee, that's her name. So it was kind of like, whoa. So maybe he doesn't know how to read.
Right. Well, yeah, it's up for question. But she said that he said, you know we're going to have an affair, don't you? Have you ever been to Peter Luger's, whatever, for steaks? I'll take you. We're going to have an affair, I'm telling you.
No.
Like, okay, first of all, I don't even, frustration. Second of all,
that wasn't
telling somebody that they're gonna have an affair with you, like it's a confident statement that he is so sure of. There was no consent involved in this. There was no asking. And I understand that, people can make stuff up, but whenever multiple people start coming out with these same stories and him, saying that he says there was, in the recording of him and Bush, he says, I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet. Just kiss. I don't even wait. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything. So basically, like I said earlier, he feels that he has the power to override anything and anyone that
he has like this sense of entitlement
in order to do whatever.
And now that he's won the election.
It's so belittling, even as, a woman that this hasn't happened to. Like, this has not happened to me, and I've never experienced this, but to know that somebody thinks that they can walk in on a group of 15-year-olds or 18-year-olds, whatever, for the Miss America
It had to have been at
swimsuit
least 18, I
competition
think.
and just walk into their dorms while they're naked, and to feel justified in that. It just
Yeah.
makes me feel like I am smaller.
Right. And people brush this off as, you know, oh, his comments don't bother me as much as blah, blah, blah. But, you know, and we were talking about it in one of my classes today, it's very interesting that people would say that. And it's like, they say that because of the society that we have been bred in America, this society that has been fueled through advertisement, through the music industry, through the film industry, through art, that women are objects. And how objectified women are, and how, you know, it's almost, you know, like, it's always been brushed aside, this whole idea of violence on women. And so people are able to easily brush it aside because they haven't recognized the type of society that we've been bred in, that we have been raised in, that allows this when it's not in fact okay.
Right. And it may just be me noticing it. It may be a coincidence. Maybe I've become more sensitive since this has happened to noticing it. But I feel like since he has become president, the energy has created this, you know, not to man hate or anything. I don't want to do that, but I have had more nasty remarks and comments just walking down the street to me than yes, I've completely felt that experience. And I talked to a friend about it, and she said, you know, it's just the energy. It's everyone feels that they are justified in those actions because if he can get away with it, why can't they?
I wonder if part of that is like your location.
I was walking down the street, and this dude like was shaking his head and just being completely ridiculous, and
like shaking his head and smiling type deal.
Well, like no, like just weirdly shaking,
like
his
nodding
head,
or
like, making all these weird noises, trying to draw attention. And then he must have noticed that I glanced over, because why wouldn't you look at that? And he was just like, yeah, bitch, I saw you look over here. That's what I wanted you to do. And I was like, what?
Was this like at your school or like?
Yeah.
I'm wondering if part of it's your location.
Right, and it may very well be. And like I said, you know, that wasn't the only instance, but it's definitely, I've noticed it more. If nothing else, I've noticed it more.
Because it's like where I am, Trump supporters here are closeted. Still are. Like they still are. They're still closeted. Well, that was interesting insight. Now let's go on to the chipper topic of what's his face? I still can't remember his name. Mason. Mike Pence.
Mike Pence. Okay. Are you sure you want to? Yeah. I mean,
you know,
we can. I do want to see something.
Yeah.
I want to read some quotes.
Like a Trump rape.
We're in a global war of civilization against barbarism. January 2015.
Barbarism?
Mike Pence.
Excuse me. What?
He said, in January of 2015, Mike Pence said, we are in a global war of civilization against barbarism.
As in like a barber?
No, like barbarians.
As a barbarian?
Yeah. So I want to start with that quote because I just want to get out of the way. Something, something, Adolf Hitler, something, something. Okay, moving on. In 2016, in July, he said, I'm a Christian, conservative, and Republican in that order. He said that he's served based on a lifetime of experience from small towns. He actually blocked statewide and local minimum wage increases. He wants to declare English as the official language of the United States. Basically, he has a voting record of restricting immigration, sealing the border, wants to continue the act of NATO through U.S. success, wants peace with North Korea through U.S. strength, wants to go back to Iraq because we did not leave enough forces behind. That he said in October of 2016. That was very recent. He voted no on establishing network neutrality. He actually is now voting to end net neutrality. He wants a permanent ban on state and local taxation of internet access. So no, what's the word? I'm losing it. Civic, city-owned gigabit networks. He wants it to be through private companies. He voted yes on allowing telephone monopolies to offer internet access. He said that we are going to meet our obligations to our seniors. He said we will keep promises to our seniors. He wants personal investment for Social Security retirement. However, he's cutting Social Security. So, he's rated 22% by the Alliance for Retired Americans, indicating an anti-senior voting record. He's rated 100% by FAIR, indicating a voting record restricting immigration. 92% by the USBC, indicating a sealed border stance. He voted yes on building that wall along the Mexico border. It was actually just a fence, but I think we can extrapolate, to nowadays. Do I need to go on?
I mean,
Would that be enough?
I'm waiting. I'm
'Cause I have
waiting
another
for
page.
the tie-in with women. If I'm not already depressed enough.
Oh man, I haven't even got
I know.
that far, honestly.
Like, do
No,
you have
I
another
haven't even-
page and a
I
half
didn't even
before
get
you
to
get
that.
to the accusations? In the
Yeah, the basic gist of what we should understand. Abortion is basically something that should be illegal in the United States. Birth control, basically abstinence is the only form of birth control that you should ever embark
abstinence,
on
because
until
that
you get
works.
married.
Abstinence
We have a
works
winner.
every time.
Right.
Why didn't I think of this before, guys? Oh my god, why are we
Yeah.
even here?
So
Crazy.
he does have an anti-public health voting record. He actually wants to limit medical malpractice lawsuits to $250,000 in damages. So if you had a family member who had to get a heart transplant, and then for some reason the doctor went AWOL in the room, and something horrible happened, the doctor literally murdered your family member, you might have a right to sue that hospital, maybe, but you can only get $250,000 in damages. He voted yes to capping damages and setting time limits in medical lawsuits, so you only have so much time to actually get those damages, whatever they may end up being. He does not want to regulate the price of life-saving drugs. So $5,000 EpiPens is apparently non-issue. Medicaid is not
Which,
just broke.
by the way,
it is
a lot
broken.
of Republicans were pissed off when EpiPen raised their fucking prices.
Right? This guy is about as gone as it gets.
Keep going.
He said Obamacare is a government takeover of healthcare.
And banning abortion isn't?
Right,
Okay, keep
right.
going.
He voted no on assisting workers who lose jobs due to globalization. So all those jobs that are getting stolen? Well, he doesn't want to help the people who end up losing those jobs anyways. So why does he even give a fuck in the first place? He's rated 61% by Cato, indicating a mixed record on trade issues. He's rated -6 by AAI, indicating an anti-Arab and anti-Palestine voting record. He voted yes on reforming the United Nations by restricting U.S. funding, voted yes on deterring foreign arms trade transfers to China, voted no on supporting democratic institutions in Pakistan, voted no on 4 weeks of paid paternal leave for federal employees. He's rated 10% by LCV, indicating anti-environment votes, voted yes on deauthorizing critical habitat for endangered species, and he wants to veto climate bill compromises between industries and
I'm
environmentalists.
laughing to hide my pain.
Oh my god. This man.
I
Okay.
used to joke
Yeah.
that, maybe we'd get lucky and Donald Trump would be assassinated. But, I hope to God he lives, because, I knew Mike Pence was bad, but shit.
Yeah, there's and on this source alone, I have a whole other half a web page, and that was just nitpicking. Those are the best parts. Those aren't the small things. There's genuinely easily 200 or 300 individual
How are you rated
details on what he's voted for.
-6%? Because
I
he's a
don't
racist
understand
asshole. That's why. Because he was
No, it was
How
just
is
a
it?
negative.
It was
6.
-6%, but it was what, -6% because he voted against Palestinian and Arab. What was it?
So he's rated at -6 by the AAI, indicating an anti-Arab and
Anti-Arab
anti-Palestinian voting record.
Yeah. So he doesn't vote in
Yeah.
favor. Because he's a
Yeah.
racist bigot.
what I don't understand is how do you look at how far we've come and look at everything that we have accomplished and see those statistics, see those facts.
People don't see them. They get all their sources from the Odyssey.
Yes, that is what I believe in. That is what I want to support. How?
Third detail,
How?
served based on a lifetime of experience from small towns.
Mason just explained it. Just explained it
Yeah.
all in one sentence.
Yeah.
Life experience.
This
from
is
a
the
small
guy-
Town.
This
right
is the guy who needs condoms to fuck his cousin. Like, seriously.
His third cousin.
Yes. It's insane.
And you know it's his man third cousin too. He's fucking him
Yeah.
in the ass.
Hey, he's totally in the closet. Fucking
Have you
look at
seen
him.
him? There was a picture, like, released on election day
How-
of him and his wife riding their bicycles through their, like, little white suburban neighborhood or whatever. And I, like, felt like they just... I felt like they had just murdered children and were just going on a joyride.
He seriously looks like a fascist Joe Biden. This is
Fascist Joe
insane.
Biden.
I mean,
Whew.
how do you look at this and not see the obvious that they are strictly in it for the money?
Like, where was the lifetime of experience, Mason, again? The
I'm sorry, what was
lifetime
that?
of experience,
Yes. Served based on a lifetime of experience from small towns.
there's your answer.
This guy thinks he's doing good.
He thinks he's...
He thinks he's
he thinks
upholding the
he's
word of
great.
God.
Well, oh my God. Can we just... First of all, God is dead. Second, I'm not going to officially say that Sexpert says God is dead. However, no, I'm kidding. But it's just, oh, man. God. Jesus.
In July of this year, he did say that his family lived the American dream. Fuck everyone else, though.
His family lived the American dream.
Yeah, his family's dead, I think.
So, like, they immigrated here and built their lives up here.
Actually, you know, I want to see. I want to find out if he is an immigrant because I
I
didn't,
doubt it.
You know, I just didn't
At
get
least
that.
he's definitely not a second generation. He's not a first
No.
generation. He's
No. This guy was born in fucking Columbus,
he
Indiana.
is a Mayflower immigrant. He don't know shit. Oh, buddy.
Damn.
Well,
I think now I understand like why I've never got along with people from Indiana. Like it's starting
can
to
we
make
talk
sense.
about
I really do
how
feel for
he
them though.
took money from the Indiana HIV/AIDS research pool and put it towards,
I did
wait
not.
for it, put it towards conversion camps for homosexuals.
Yes, perfect, because that's what we need.
That's exactly
I hope he
what-
gets AIDS.
I think that's exactly what I said. Well, I mean, listen, he's obviously fucking his third cousin without a condom. So,
Oh yeah.
I don't like to hate on politicians or anybody.
but okay, well,
for
Donald Trump
shallow
isn't a politician,
reasons.
so we have a go-to there.
But I don't like to do it over shallow
Right.
reasons. I like having, deep factual stuff because, the rest is just nitpicking. And I do it. Everyone does it. It's fine. But after everything that I just heard, I am blown away. I am.
Mason, I'm just gonna take that audio clip
Yeah.
and just
Yeah.
sell it on iTunes for free. I'm gonna have it for free, so everyone
you-
can just buy it
do
and
you
just
know-
listen to it on repeat on iTunes.
Do you know what the defining moment of his career as
Was
in
it
Indiana?
when he
Do you know what it
converted
was?
all 7 of his gay children to be heterosexual?
No, it was the resulting HIV outbreak from his mismanagement of
Wait,
funding.
wait. That was like sarcasm, or he considers that the pinnacle of his career.
No,
Okay,
that's
okay,
sarcasm.
okay.
I mean, no, that's actually the only notable
Yeah,
thing
he
he's done.
caused,
So I
like,
mean,
an outbreak
you
of
know.
HIV because he took funding from, and then
Yeah.
put it into conversion camps where we know everyone's fucking there anyway. I mean, conversion camps are a
Right.
dream for gay people. Conversion camps are better than Grindr. Okay, like.
Right? You don't
You
even have to
don't
look for
even
gay
have
people.
to
They're just
go
there.
anywhere.
They're
Right.
everywhere.
Like you
Yeah.
can just fuck your roommate or whatever. I don't know.
It's like if Tinder had a
But
summer
they
camp.
don't. Since it's a conversion camp, they don't have condoms because what's the rule at conversion camp? Abstinence. And what's the rule
Mm-hmm.
for gay people?
You just gotta. You just gotta pray
You
that
just got to
gay
pray it away and not have sex. And let me
It'll
tell
work
you
every
what,
time.
that doesn't work. Never works. Newsflash.
God, I can't believe
How,
that's still a
how are
thing.
conversion camps still allowed when it's not in the DSM, it's not, when it has been, how? And I guess it's because they're religious
I
based.
actually read.
But it's like, but it's been proved that, like, homosexuality is not, like, it's not a handicap, it's not a mental disorder, it's not, it's, okay.
I actually read an article a long time ago, and it was about this person that got sent to a conversion camp because their family was completely like strict Christian, didn't want anything to do with them because they were gay, and because they went there, they sunk like into this terrible deep depression where they like tried to commit suicide multiple times. So if you want to send your child away so that they can try and kill themselves,
Well, it's
go
like,
for
well,
it.
conversion
Like,
camps don't
that's not
offer,
okay.
you can't convert your child from one sexuality to another, first of all. Second of all, conversion camps don't offer any type of system to, they're not like rehab. People think they're like rehab for gay people. They're not. Rehab, for people on drugs or, mental institutions that rehabilitate people who need help, they offer legitimate psychological help and support. Most do. They're getting better. They offer legitimate psychological help and support, and are very cautious of what they do. Conversion camps are literally run by religious institutions who aren't backed by like anything psychological or medical. You're just sitting there with your preacher, your whoever, your father who is fucking little boys, who's telling you not to do that. Well, don't fuck little boys. Let me say that. Well, fuck consensual grown people. That's okay.
I was just going to say, I think, I think why people go to gay camps, I think why people get sent to gay camps.
It's like fat camp.
God, that sounds so weird. It's like, oh yeah, we have this internment thing. It's like, yeah, but it's like,
so Girl Scout camp, Boy Scout camp. Yeah,
pretty much. But like, I think the reason that they send them there is because instead of just bringing them into their church, it's easier because they aren't Christian enough to not be assholes to someone who's actually different. So they have to get rid of them and hope it all works out for the best.
I don't like to label, but
I don't know. I don't know. I'm thinking about it. I'm like, you send them to a camp, or you put them in a church in a community. Like, what the fuck? Like, seriously, how is? All right. Just thinking about it from a Christian perspective, how is putting a bunch of gay people in the exact same location going to make them less gay?
Yeah,
seriously,
no, I 100% agree.
Like even though that statement doesn't make sense,
like, and they don't have to pay for it because it'll be funded by the government.
Yeah,
so they get free sex partners for life, but possibly AIDS because there's not going to be any condoms, and that there's not going to be any AIDS education in America. I'm also worried for the sex education systems in America because, they need to be federally mandated, and they're, definitely not going to be under Trump, but I'm just, oh, man. With all of this going on, it's like sex education needs to be strengthened.
If you want to go and watch a great video, Mia will post it. And we'll put the link in.
Madison loves this fucking video.
John Oliver clip. I mean, it is so on point. Like it's funny because John Oliver is completely the best and in love with him. But like, it's so true that it hurts. just
I need
everything that he
I
talked
need to
about
watch
is
that
beautiful
link.
in that.
But I think when I started watching it, it was like I knew all the statistics already, but I need to watch it from beginning to end. Maybe I'll do that after this.
No, the ending you've never seen
Oh,
before.
I'm sure.
The ending is all new.
I only
like,
watched the first 10 minutes.
It's great.
So, what can I expect? Mason, do you have anything
It's
else?
beautiful, and
for
it will
us?
blow your mind. And you can trust John Oliver because he has great backings,
Yes.
credentials.
Compared to Tommy Lauren. Sorry, what? Mason.
Damn.
Anything else?
Yes. I think that's about it. Pretty much. I mean, okay, I'm not gonna say it. I don't.
Say it.
No, it's just not
No,
the right
please.
time. It's just
You
not
know
like
what?
the right place.
It wasn't the right time or right place for Donald Trump to be elected our president. So, I say fuck it all and tell me what you want to say.
No. Well, don't get offended. I was just, and maybe not the best
Alright.
judgment. All I was gonna say is Mike Pence is kind of a
Mike
cunt.
Pence is kind of like, why would I get offended by a
that's-
true statement, Mason?
Hey man, I'm not
He is a
saying
cunt.
some people, you know. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah, and just like we were talking about at the beginning, welcome all opinions. Just know your facts. Know what you're supporting.
Yes.
Know the repercussions
Yes.
that it has. If you know all of that and you want to continue just believing all of those terrible things, then I guess more power to you because you're hurting a lot of people.
I might yell at you over the internet.
Well, yeah, you
Yeah.
can
And our
tweet Mason.
personal
He can yell at
opinions
you on
are
Twitter.
just as valid as yours. So
Exactly. I'm actually writing a very interesting blog post in collaboration with my good friend Chris that'll be coming out Sunday, kind of along these lines, about the echo chamber of American politics, especially seen through social media, like on Facebook and stuff.
The gay chamber. Like the gay
That's
camp.
that's the conversion camps, Mason. We're talking something different.
Yeah. Sorry.
Maybe. Do you think I could
couldn't call
go
it- they couldn't call it gay
undercover?
care? I mean, seriously.
Oh my god.
Right?
Do you think I could go undercover at a gay care? That would be the best. That would
Yeah.
be the best day of my life. I don't know.
Unless it was ran by Scientologists. but we'll discuss
Scientologists?
that
I
another
could
time.
put up with Scientologists. I think I could.
I don't know, man. That's some cult shit. I mean, I get
So
it.
is
Maybe one of you is a
evangelism.
Scientologist. I don't mean to like be
Evangelism's some
offensive
cult
or
shit.
something, but
No,
No, I'm not
Whoa.
a Scientologist.
That's like that's very far fetched for
yeah,
me,
no, dude.
in my personal opinion.
When you keep people in a compound like forcefully, and not because their fucking parents paid you to make them ungay, it gets a little weird.
just a little weird.
It gets a little weirder. I'm sorry.
They want to be gay in a compound together. That's
Yeah.
weird.
Alright,
No, yeah.
so-
Okay, well, I
Phew.
think, well, no one is horny after this episode. And that's a good thing because I don't want any of y'all getting pregnant unexpectedly, but you may be after January 20th. So, well, I guess that's going to end today's episode.
I need to drink.
Yeah, I thought about drinking during this, and I
need
I
many
really
drinks.
regret not doing that. But I'm about to drink the shitload out of my fridge right now. Guys, thanks for listening. If you stuck through till the end, thank you so much. So appreciative. We will be bringing you a new mini episode the week of Thanksgiving, so this coming week, about small dicks. Quotes about small dicks. So if you want another Donald Trump laced episode, tune in for small dicks. We will be seeing you then. It'll be another 2 weeks till a full-length episode. What do you want to hear from us? Tweet us. Tweet me at me, Renee Cole, at Madison at Anasia Dark Blue, at Mason Spec 1.
Yeah, I
Do you
think
still
so.
just have one tweet?
You probably know better than
Do
I
you
do.
still just have one tweet? You're a piece
I
of
do.
shit.
I followed more people.
Did you follow Donald J. Trump?
Oh my god, I should.
Okay, yeah, so follow us there. Let us know if you have any quotes on Samoa dicks and your experience with them, whether you're a male or a female or non-binary. Let us know, and we will be seeing you then. Stay sexy and make smart decisions, and maybe look into women getting an IUD or long-lasting birth control before Donald Trump takes away from you. Okay, stay sexy. Bye.